A huge transition coming in the Steel City. Pittsburgh is working on a trade for Antonio Brown. Also, they declared they won't use the transition tag on Le'Veon Bell, making the running back a free agent. And on top of that, GM Kevin Colbert said of criticism of Ben Roethlisberger, they should listen to him. Doug, who's to blame for the Steelers' current situation?
Everybody.
That's the truth.
Everybody.
Is this where you say yes?
Yes. I mean, they're all to blame. I thought it was fascinating what Kevin Colbert did yesterday, where he just handed, is it a conch or conch? What is the, from Lord of the Flies, right? The conch shell?
I think it's conch.
Okay, let's go with
I've been on the islands, and that's
but I'm not. It's with a CH. It's proving I did have to read a book in high school. Okay, but it's the Lord of the Flies, right? Whoever has the conch is in control. And Kevin Colbert, the general manager, didn't say, "Hey, they should listen to Mike Tomlin. He's the guy. He's the law." They didn't say what Plex joined us and their expression, which is written on the walls. The standard is the standard. He said, Ben Roethlisberger's our guy. He's our leader. He's our Sergeant Holka. He's our big toe. He handed the conch to him, which was really, really interesting because I do actually think if you listen to the totality of what Ben Roethlisberger says when he makes his local radio appearance on his local radio show, there was a time early in the season when he said, I haven't been any good. There's times in which he's called out Antonio Brown for not running the right, he's just an honest salesman. And Ben Roethlisberger is also a guy who got suspended by the league. We remember early on in his career, he had the motorcycle, he had the off the field stuff. He's had some things. He's lived a couple of different lives. I thought that was the most fascinating thing because it did take some of the onus and some of the blame off of Ben Roethlisberger, and it
maybe all of it. I mean, as far as he's concerned,
right? But he didn't say Mike Tomlin, which was weird. So look, I think that the blame does get sprinkled around. I think a lot of it is in guys that want to get paid and overvalue themselves. I mean, I think that Antonio Brown thing at the end of the day is about guaranteed money. We know the Le'Veon Bell thing was about guaranteed money more than anything. Look, I got plenty of money. I can sit out a year. I'm going to change how people view running backs, and I think that's going to backfire personally at the end of the day. But I think Mike Tomlin deserves some blame, and I think Big Ben deserves some blame. But those two being back have a chance to revamp this thing and make it more about the Steelers standard like it used to be.
They've gotten away from that. There's no question about it. And that does fall on Mike Tomlin. I'm with you. There's so much blame to spread around. But Mike Tomlin has to get this team back to the Steelers' way. We didn't hear about, I mean, there's personalities all over the place, and there's so much drama with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that never used to be the case. So maybe get with Antonio leaving and Le'Veon leaving, they'll get back to that. I also think with Ben Roethlisberger, I think the GM went too far. Now, I'm fine with you saying, look, Ben Roethlisberger is the leader of this team. Everybody knows it. The locker room knows it. Management knows it. He is our guy. He's led us to 2 Super Bowls and so on and so forth. He didn't have to go as far as, I think you guys should listen to him. To me, that was kind of taking all the blame off Ben. I think Ben is part of the problem, not the major part, because no matter what problem you have with a teammate, if you're Antonio Brown, you have to show up and play in what was maybe a playoff game. I know they didn't control their destiny, but for them, it was essentially a playoff game. And you walked out on your teammate. So that is on Antonio Brown. I also would say to Antonio, if you have an issue with Ben, because it apparently is subtle.
Yes.
There's no blow up. There's nothing like that. It's just a subtle feeling that
he threw a football at his head before he walked out the door. That's not.
Well, we're hearing that. I think some people have denied that there was. Who knows what happened? But he said there's not been a blow up. He just gets this feeling Ben doesn't respect him. Sit down with him.
Yeah, that's
man to man.
I'm with you. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger should have, instead of saying he hasn't called me, should have gotten in his car and driven over to wherever he stays.
Right, they should talk it out.
Correct, and chop it up.
And then let me tell you this last thing about Le'Veon. Okay, Le'Veon's, I get it. You want guaranteed money. You can get hurt at any given moment in this game and your career's over and you lose all that money they promised you because it's not guaranteed. But the problem there, look, that's the Players Association. That's the collective bargaining agreement. And there's nothing you can do about it until it's up. So I get where Le'Veon's coming from, but right now these are the rules. So you have to play by. I'm with you. He gave up a ton of money. And I don't know if he's going to get it back. Maybe the Jets or somebody will be so desperate he does, but he gave up a ton of money. He has to look at the Players Association and signing this deal rather than blaming the Steelers for playing by the rules.
I even think the Players Association is a little bit much, only because he was first offered a long-term deal 2 seasons ago, turned it down, then offered some form of long-term deal, turned it down.
And he wanted more guaranteed.
He wanted more guaranteed. And oh yeah, by the way, if you sign a franchise tag, it's not a long-term guarantee, but you're guaranteed $14.5 million. And well, look, but the reason I can't ever back Le'Veon Bell is I've never seen a situation where offensive linemen, guys that are in the trenches, guys that have blocked for him, that those guys turn on their own mate, on their own running back. I've never seen that before. I've never heard of that before in the National Football League. It's always about us versus management, us even versus the coaches.
They didn't even turn on Antonio Brown like that.
No, they turn up. But the Steelers strike me as, we have a little bit of that in the issue. One of their issues is dealing with social media. I really think this is a problem with Kevin Durant, right? How he deals with social media. But I think on a little bit bigger scale with the Steelers, I think they're struggling with how to manage. They've always been a mom and pop organization. They've always tried to suppress salaries. They've always been about the team, about the city. You want to get a big contract, you go elsewhere. And they're trying to deal with 2019 NFL football, where guys want bigger long-term deals, guys have social media presence, guys want to be Facebook Live from the locker room, or want to tweet out their every thought and every feeling. And I don't know if this organization is that nimble. They want the kind of old school. Hey, like, weren't you just okay with? Didn't you need a flip phone? Why do you need one of these smartphones? That strikes me as an organization that's struggling to evolve into the 21st century.
But you don't. There's some good points you made, but you don't see this type of drama elsewhere. Obviously, the Patriots are on a whole different level, but most other teams, you don't see this level.
Yes.
It's something has gone awry in Pittsburgh. And as I said with Plaxico, James Harrison has called out Mike Tomlin, said he needs to be more of a disciplinarian. I think right now, get those guys out of there and then set a new tone. You can't go from being soft to hard. You can go from being hard to soft as a coach.
Yes.
It's hard to go the other way. You need to get them out.
Now I'm a tough guy.
Right.
I'm a tough guy.
You can't do that.
Tough guy.
So get some guys in there that are just going to respect the coach just because that's in them, and then maybe you can get back to the Steelers' way.
All right, coming up, should Zion shut it down after his injury last night? That's next on First Things First. I see.
Y'all, we going to do this.